such an exciting show on for you guys today. Now, you know, Loa mentioned exoplanets. Now, exoplanets' existence dates back to centuries ago, and I'm not going to pretend I know what an exoplanet is, so we're going to find out. In recent years, they've become something to follow for so many astronomers, from wanting to know whether there's, you know, life on those planets, does life exist beyond Earth, to questioning whether or not stars might even, you know, wipe us out. So Carys Gilbert from UCT is sitting in by today in the studio to give us the lowdown on the ins and outs about what on earth are exoplanets.
And you know what, Lauren, I think the question that every single person is asking themselves in studio today is that, what is an exoplanet? And Carys, would like to welcome you to the show today. Thank you so much for taking time out to join us and tell us and educate us rather about the topic for today. So maybe perhaps for people like us, myself, Lauren, Dylan, everyone else that's within studio that doesn't know what an exoplanet is, what is it? How can you best describe it, like in layman's terms?
Well, yeah, so basically exoplanet is actually short for extrasolar planet, and it refers to any planet that orbits a star that's not our sun. And so those planets can be just like the Earth, you know, kind of rock-based, or they can be gas giants like Jupiter, Neptune. They can range in size from the smallest, you know, microplanets like Pluto, all the way up to ginormous planets. So yeah, it just means any planet that does not orbit the sun is an exoplanet.
It's interesting, you know, you mentioned an exoplanet is this planet that exists outside the solar system. For a definition, first of all, what's a one-liner of what is the solar system? And then on top of that, how is it possible that there's an exoplanet that exists outside the solar system?
Yeah, so the solar system just refers to, well, us and all of the planets around us orbiting the sun. So it's the 8 planets that we know and love, as well as Pluto, which is sadly no longer a planet, but including the rest of them. And exoplanets form around other stars in the same way that the planets formed around the sun. When a star forms, it forms out of a giant ball of gas that kind of gets compressed down, but not all of it is used up, so then you can use the rest to form various amounts of planets of various sizes. So the process is actually the same for all different types of stars, which is really interesting. Not all stars have planets around them, but it's fair to say that a lot of them do in the same way that we do. So there can be billions of planets out there in all the different galaxies.
We are learning today on EKSE, guys.
Listen, we are definitely learning. A question that is being dissected by NASA at the moment is that, is it possible to have a planet that has life beyond Earth? Because Earth is the planet that we all live in, and that's a planet that we know to have life and be, you know, a habitat for human nature. So is it possible to have another planet that is, you know, that is a planet that is going to be environmental friendly for humans, you know, that's going to be able to harvest life?
Exactly,
What's the synergy behind that?
So basically, in order to get life like we have on planet Earth, the planet needs to be within what's known as either the habitable zone or the Goldilocks zone of a star. And it's called the Goldilocks zone because the planet is not too cold, not too hot, but just right, so that we can have liquid water. And liquid water really is the key to having carbon-based life like we found on Earth. So technically, if a planet is the right size, the right distance from its star, and has liquid water, then there's no reason to think why there couldn't be life evolving in the same way it did on Earth. Sure, we haven't seen any evidence for that, but right now we're just probing the atmospheres of exoplanets with the newest and best telescopes, so I think it's quite a while before we'll be able to see if there's any alien life forms running around.
Yeah.
It's such a dense conversation, and I think you're talking about it, you know, as succinctly as possible, which I think is amazing. Just making those conversations accessible to the broader audience, including ourselves, who are like, wait, exoplanets, what? So now I've heard that asteroid collisions that occur, it's the impact of astronomical objects causing, you know, major effects within the solar system. How could this affect us on Earth? In what way does it impact us?
Well, Earth has been hit by many asteroids and probably will continue to be hit by many more of various sizes. We're quite lucky in that we have a very thick atmosphere, so that most small asteroids, small being even up to the size of a car, burn up in atmosphere and don't affect us in the slightest. I think
so they never actually hit Earth?
No, they never hit us, thankfully. I think the most recent kind of impact that was noticeable was over Russia in 2014, but there have been big impacts theorized like what killed all the dinosaurs. So asteroid impacts can be very deadly and are definitely something to be aware of, but luckily because space is so big, it's a very rare occurrence, and now we have the technology to be able to track and measure exactly where all surrounding asteroids are.
And what is the theory when it comes to exoplanets possibly wiping out and dominating Earth? Because I think
Panic.
in the future, you know what, I'm panicking because I'm like, what? Like what is the theory behind that? Is it possible? Is it possible for Earth to be totally wiped up? What is the theory around that?
Well, in theory, yes, I guess. Anything is really possible in an infinite universe. I think what's lucky is that how big space really is. I mean, the nearest star to us is, let's say, 3 light years away, which doesn't sound like a lot when galaxies are millions of light years away, but at 3 light years means it would take 3 years to get there if you're going as fast as light, which is nowhere near possible for us, and probably not very possible for alien life forms. So even if they were to find us and be like, oh, we want to destroy this planet for whatever reason, it would take them thousands of years to even get to us. The resources would be huge, and for kind of unknown purpose. So I think I wouldn't be too worried about aliens coming and destroying Earth. Maybe within their own star systems, other planets should be worried about being colonized, but I think we're luckily quite safe for now.
It's so interesting, you know, thinking about exoplanets, I'm thinking about aliens and how there's so many people, because of movies, we picture the little green things. And, you know, it's interesting just thinking about life forms out there. Like, if aliens exist, what would they look like? Blobs, like humans, like robots? But folks, if you're interested in knowing about life beyond Earth, do follow NASA's website that updates you about exoplanets on a daily basis. I imagine you're probably subscribed to all of those updates. And just remember, of course, that we have a big thank you to say to Carys for stopping by in the studio, and we're wishing her all the best with her final year at university and hope to see her as one of the big next to name, you know, to maybe discover a secret planet. But right now we have Loa back in studio, so make sure that you don't go anywhere.
Yes, don't go anywhere.
So we're going to link to Loa just now, but just in case somebody does want to know a little bit more about exoplanets, just hop onto the Google machine.
Definitely, and you know what, I think we have technology that is accessible to each and every single person. So you have your phone, you have your tablet, you have your laptop, you have the internet that is accessible. So please make sure that you check it out. If the conversation that we had today spiked in interest or ignited some sort of interest within you, then make sure that you follow up. Because, I mean, we're not going to be on Earth forever, but I think it's very good to be educated about, you know, what's going to happen in the future. So that I think it's also important for us to preserve, you know, the habitat that we have now, so that, you know, we're able to make it sustainable even for the generations to come. But of course, enough talking from our side. Let's head over rather to Rwanda to see what's happening with the social media question.
Oh man, my biggest thing for this interview is the fact that I know that South Africa, or rather the Earth, is safe. If I felt like aliens were invading us, there would be a big problem from my side. But now that I know that we're safe, actually it's okay. And a huge shout out to Carys for letting us know what exoplanets are. Our social media question for the day, ladies and gents, is if you were offered an opportunity to go out of space, would you take it? Personally, I'm trying to think. I think I'm a very adventurous person, but then again, I only haven't been out of South Africa. So if I haven't been out of South Africa, how am I going to go to outer space? So maybe let's start with Thailand. Let's start with the Maldives. Let's start with Italy. Let's start with Europe. Let's start with all my favorite places, and then we can head out of space. Guys, I want to repeat it one last time, just in case you didn't hear it. If you were offered a chance to go out of space, would you take it? Our social media handles are EKSE Live on Instagram, on Twitter, on Facebook. We have Umihlali Lauren in the building. More to come up on the show. Fueta Moyo is also in the building speaking about their fashion brand. A little later on the show, we have EKSE, who is a talented musician and an artist, going to be rapping for us, doing all things that have to do with music. Olorizi is also in the game, that is headed by Umihlali. So much more to come on the show. Most importantly, though, we don't do this for ourselves. We do it for you. So please do make sure you're hopping on our social media platforms. It is EKSE Live on Instagram, on Twitter, on Facebook. Right now, though, everybody take a breather. Go drink some water. We'll see you after this.